Do y'all remember the 4-year stretch of time when everyone thought that B&M would turn every stand-up coaster into a floorless coaster? That was such an innocent time.
Pokemon Go!
If you're out of the loop, B&M used to offer parks a new way to breathe new life into their stand-up coasters. How would they achieve this? By making them no longer stand-up coasters. They would swap out the trains for sit-down floorless trains, give them a repaint, and the job was done. 3 of B&M's stand-up coasters would go under this process. Vortex at California's Great America became Patriot in 2017. Apocalypse at Six Flags America became Firebird in 2019. And Mantis at Cedar Point became Rougarou in 2015. And of course with this industry, people began to speculate about which ones would be next. And of course with this industry, nothing else will come of this. Now, why did I just dedicate this intro to a pure flash-of-the-pan moment? Well, it's because it's literally the only interesting thing about Rougarou. Oh god, do I have to talk about this? Ugh, fine, I did this to myself anyways. Rougarou is a B&M Floorless Coaster * at Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio. It originally opened as Mantis in 1996 and, as mentioned in the intro, operated as a stand-up coaster until 2015, when it was given new floorless trains, repainted, and renamed to Rougarou. Yep, Rougarou. Rougarou. What could that possibly even mean? Here, 1 second. Okay, so I looked it up, and it's apparently a sort of Cajun werewolf, I guess. The way amusement parks obsess over naming coasters after obscure mythical beasts is very annoying. The only thing I should have to research before riding something is if it's actually worth my time. And speaking of which, let's get into the ride itself. Rougarou is actually quite impressive statistically. It has a height of 145 feet, reaches 60 miles per hour, has 3,900 feet of track, and 4 inversions. At most parks, this ride would stand out as one of its marquee rides. But Rougarou is at Cedar Point, aka
a monument to man's arrogance.
Which means that Rougarou is right next to Millennium Force, Top Thrill 2 Spike, Siren's Curse, and Valraven. It's weird to say a ride of this stature is dwarfed, but it absolutely is at this park. Kinda like throwing a 6'4" guy into an NBA court.
What do you say fuck me for?
Anyways, the ride is on the left side of the park, nearly dead center of it actually, and has a nice looking plaza, I can't lie. It has a cool sign, the colors really pop, and the loop is kinda picturesque. But that's kinda when this ride's notability just straight up ends. I've neglected to mention it so far, but Rougarou is just so painfully basic in so many ways. It's not bad, it's just boring. Very boring. The station is boring, and if you expected theming, I have a dunce cap with your name right on it. Your row doesn't matter, neither does your seat, but I do like the bag a bit more, I guess. I don't know, it's better for the drop. Look, I'm just looking for something good to talk about. God help me. And then your boring and basic as hell ride begins. The first half largely compiles of large elements and inversions. You have an alright drop and an average vertical loop, and then a so-so dive loop. Then this weird turnaround that does absolutely nothing, and then an actually pretty good moment with this incline loop. It does actually pull some pretty good forces here. But then you're right back to basic as you hit the mid-course and begin your low to the ground second half. There's a corkscrew thrown in, but it's largely just meandering turns. And that's really it. Rougarou's layout is fine. It does nothing special except for maybe the incline loop, and spends most of its time having decent enough inversions and meandering through a finale that should have ended 15 seconds ago. And then you factor in the ride's invisible yet somehow omnipresent rattle, and then you have quite possibly the most forgettable B&M I have ever done. And I am boring myself to sleep trying to discuss this ride. So let's get this over with. If I had to rate Rougarou out of 10, I'd give it a 5. Rougarou is not a bad ride, do not get me wrong. It's just painfully forgettable, especially at a park with 18 coasters. If this was at another park, I might appreciate it more, but it's still just an average ride at best, with a bland layout and decent enough intensity, I guess. Its only real purpose at Cedar Point anymore is to serve as a safety net for when lines are too long. Congratulations, Rougarou, you exist as nobody's first option.
What is my purpose?
You pass butter.
Oh my god.